Hello YouTube and welcome to my review of Sakurako-san no Ashimoto ni wa Shita ga Umateru, otherwise known as Beautiful Bone Sakurako's Investigation. I'm reviewing the anime series, not the light novel series, and I've only watched the anime series, which you can watch the full reaction to on the channel if you want to check that out. But what did I think of Sakuraku? I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I just watched it on a whim, honestly. You know, it's from 2015. It's not like it's new. I just stumbled upon the the sorry, I'm allergies. Allergies are killing me right now. Um, I just stumbled upon the anime and the synopsis sounded interesting, you know. It painted a picture of like a mystery with a not an osteologist, which is like a bone reconstructor. And I'm like, okay, high school student bone reconstructor going on like an episodic mystery thing. That sounds pretty fun to me. And I do think it's pretty enjoyable. It's the type of show where it is episodic with the either like one or two episode arcs with like a main story weaving into it with like this mastermind serial killer called actually I shouldn't say that, huh? I was about to say what his name was. But it had a very interesting presence and someone who's really into mysteries. I'm like, okay, it seems cool, and it did have a lot of good points. I think one of the highlights for me for this anime was actually the style. I thought they had a lot of style points. This is produced by Kadokawa, of course. Like they did a lot of cool camera angles. They played with colors a lot. You know, when studios put a little artistic flair into their works, it's always fun. And I know like sometimes it's harder to notice them. You know, it's not like a battle shonen where it comes out right away, but they do like most of the artistic changes were fine. Some of the color choices were a little like but I respect it. I respect it. And the songs, music was great. Um Characters were pretty good. Sakurako, you know, the osteologist, a very odd person with like it's like the genius type, like kind of like Sherlock, like well not Sherlock. It's like the genius type where they're obviously really smart at what they do. Because even if she's an osteologist, she's like a great detective. But she has like zero social skills, and that gets her into shit sometimes. While Shotro, the high school student, obviously he's not an expert in it, but he kind of balances it out because he knows like, okay, you're being crazy. Let me assist you and not get you thrown into jail. So they had a fun dynamic. I think Sakurako was more interested in Shotaro, but they did touch on his bad story at the end, which was pretty cool. Um, so the duo was fine. I think they had some strong side characters too, like some persistent side characters. There was Kodami, I think. Yeah, Kodami, who probably appeared the most out of the side characters. She was cool. She had a lot of development and honestly more than Shotaro. It's funny to Shotaro really, even though he was an anchor to Sakuraku, he really didn't have the level of development as some of the other characters had. And of course, Yuzoki Sensei, his story arc was probably the strongest out of the side characters. So yeah, good characters, good animation, good artistic flair. I think the main problem for me is the story, the main story, not the episodic stories. They basically set up this whole serial killer mastermind story in the background, along with Sakuraku's past and her dead brother, is who Shotaro resembles a lot. But sadly, this it doesn't cover that. The last episode just uh it covers that how they met, and apparently, you know, I read it while watching the episode or afterwards during the review of the episode, where this just uh basically is an adaptation of like a third of the light novel series, which wasn't done by the time this was airing, so I guess it made sense, but the story just feels so incomplete because there's just so much setup, setting up this like ultimate villain guy. Even at the end, they kind of like preview like, "Oh, are you ready for this battle of the minds?" But in the end, you never get it. There's never a season two, and I think we can safely say there never will be a season two because it came out in 2015, and there hasn't been an adaptation yet. Um, I saw like some comments on Reddit saying that, oh, maybe it's just like an advertisement for the light novels, which is something they do. But just like all this setup with this mastermind serial killer, and even the last episode feeling like pretty incomplete, it just made the story a little to be honest. Like if they weren't done and completed, I'd rather just them cut out the master serial killer part and just made like more development into the episodic episodes themselves. Because I think the mysteries themselves were actually pretty good. I thought like especially the first half when it was really engaged, the structure of it, how they would either just accidentally like come across this thing, and I dub it the bone zone where like I don't know, everyone in the series does this and they all go sicko mode, and they had a really cool animation for Sakurako where she does some really good analysis on like the skeletal remains, and she's able to deduce what probably happened to it. And like they like paint a picture in the first like couple episodes. Like the first one, okay, I found this body. I can determine it's not suicide. It's probably a murder. But I'm just gonna leave it to you, police. What am I gonna do? Which I thought was like, okay, that's cool. So and it kind of grounds the characters. It's like she can help you with what she's good at, but she can't like just solve it without the hints. It's up to the police to take that information. And then there's episodes where she does actually solve things using the bones, but it determines on what the information is and how active a role they take. And I think they actually do a pretty good job in that. It's just that there's just like this really big, unsatisfactory feeling of, again, just time setting up this guy who's been manipulating a handful of the cases. And just like it not paying off at all is it kind of just stings a little. Um, that's probably my main gripe with it. And I will admit, by the second half, even before I finished it and was disappointed by the ending, it was kind of losing my interest a little bit. The shtick was fun, but I don't know. I was really waiting for it to, because when you have an episodic show with a main plot line that they've been teasing, I was just really waiting for the main plot line to kick up, because that's usually how it goes with, right? Like main plot line, put some episodic shows, and once it gets closer to the end of the series, you start ramping up the main plot line. But with this, they didn't ramp up, or they kind of did. They kind of did with the 2 episode arc for episode 10 and 11. But again, the blue balls is just too much. It's just too much, which makes me think like while like the first half was really entertaining and I liked the setup, the fact that like Shotaro barely got any um development, Sakurako, there's still a lot of questions about her, though they both did develop in their own way. Again, most of the development happened to side characters like Kogami and Izozaki. There's also this guy called Haruto Imai that just he's in the opening. You think he's gonna be important, like Chiyoda Shoko, who I don't even fucking know who that is. I thought it was someone related to Sakuraku, but they just never bring they never mention what her relationship is. They have like a strong part in the opening. Literally show up once and are not important or relevant to the plot. I don't know. It just feels like the show's missing too much for me. I would say if you want to watch it for the interesting mysteries and the artistic flair they bring to it. I think those are both fun. But if you're looking for like a really strong story, then the main story of this wasn't great. But Sakurako was fun. Her antics were fun. The Bone Zone was really funny. And the first couple of mysteries where she analyzed the skeletons, it really had this magic that really engaged, at least me. I thought it was like, I had a really strong start and just a really weak finish. So yeah, that's my review. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I'd give it a shot if you enjoy a mystery type thing and are interested in like deductive stuff. Because there's, I guess one other cool thing is they do give you time for you to deduce the mysteries yourself. Um, by like highlighting parts. They don't like explicitly say like, oh, this is sussy, then what could it be? Like it's not as obvious at that, but once you see Sakuratu like deduct something, you're like, oh my god, they did show that like really briefly. Like if I was fast enough, I could have deducted that too, which I think is really fun in mystery stories. So they do have strong elements. I just again wish the finish was stronger. So yeah, midish. But if you are interested in mysteries, then I think this is worth a try. But I wouldn't be like, oh, you're new to the mystery genre. You got to start with Sakuraku. There's probably something better. Though to be fair, now that I'm saying that, I haven't really watched a lot of mystery anime. I'm thinking more books. Um, but yeah, no, it was fine. It was fine. It was good for what it was. I appreciate it. Maybe one day I will pick up the light novels. Who knows if it's translated? Maybe I'll give it a read. But yeah, decent, decent. You know what? I just put my hand in a hat, pulled out a card. It could have been probably like a really bad anime. This was at least like pretty serviceable. But yeah, anyways, thanks for checking out this review. If you enjoyed, please check out the channel. We are going to be doing anime reactions and reviews, and yeah, should be fun. I don't know what we're gonna react to next. I haven't decided when I was making this episode or video, but hopefully it's something cool. But yeah, thanks for watching. Later.